Hello, my name is Vortex Warp and welcome back to another Minecraft Redstone video. And today I present to you my Tileable partial shulker box filler. So what this does is it fills up a shulker box to a specified number of items, which can be configured to any number of items that you desire. So for example, you could fill a shulker box with 16 of your item, or you could fill it with a stack and 10, or you could fill it with 5 stacks, or whatever you want. These sort of devices can be stacked tileably next to each other. So each one of these segments fills basically one type of item up to a certain level. So for example, I think this green die fills in the green shulker boxes up to a stack and 10, and the red ones fill in up to 16. So the slices are completely independent. The shulker boxes are fed in here, and the items are fed in here. And there's a bunch of logic over here, which I will explain. I'll also include a tutorial. And I want to say that a use case for this, of course, it's not the only use case, but the use case that I'm going to be using it for is in my shop system. So it's going to be based off Sahara. So this video will be in the Better Sahara playlist, even though it's not an official episode. So if you are watching it from there, this is going towards one of the shop modules. It's effectively the shulker box loaders that are in the official Sahara, except one wide, and they don't break as often. So yeah, that's effectively it, and it's obviously more configurable. You can have any number of items rather than having to figure it out, so you just base it off of the number of items in this dropper. So I want to show you an action. So I've got all the shulker boxes filled in here, and if we simply put the green die in here, so I'm going to put green die in here and the red die in here, and you should be able to see it start working. So of course it's going to take quite a while for it to start, but it's already started on the red over there, and it's filled this first shulker box in with 16 items, and it's going to continue to do that. So if we just watch from this side, because more is going on, you can actually see it working away. Fills up the shulker box, and then it dispenses the next one. So I'm briefly going to describe how this redstone is working. The way I've got all this hopper lines running down is we're actually sort of powering through hoppers and powering through barrels in order to pass the signals through, but still allow the items to travel down in a one-wide fashion. What we're doing is detecting the items in this dropper to make sure there's enough to fill up our shulker box. Then we've got our signal passing through here. It will pass through this block and up into this counter. This will start the counter, which counts a specified number of pulses. I'll leave a link to the sort of counter that I've used here down in my description, and also it will be in the useful videos playlist that I've created with all the videos that I use when I'm creating my redstone contraptions. So that's this counter, and when this counter is running, this block will be placed downwards so that we can't have any more pulses go through this as we run out of items in here. The pulses go across and they power this dropper, which is going into the shulker box, so it sends a set amount of items into the shulker box. Because the items are pulsing fast, it doesn't allow this lamp to turn off until all the pulses have completed, and then that will power this piston over here, which will firstly power this piston breaking the box when it's got the right amount of items in, and then it will secondly power this dispenser filled with the shulker boxes that will then put a new shulker box there to start being filled. So as you can see, we've got loads of these, and we're also getting the green shulker boxes filled as well. So that is superb. I did have to do a lot of sort of redstone fiddling about to get all of these hopper lines and stuff to work, but I have managed to get it to work. And although it looks extremely huge, bear in mind that this is for like a proper shop system, or it is like counting how many things are loading, and it is only one wide segment as well, so that's the major advantage. So yeah, that's this. I'm going to start on the tutorial now and with the resource list. If you do have any questions about it though, be sure to leave them in the comments, because I would love to hear them, and any more suggestions of what else I can add and build. Of course, I am going to be expanding on this for the shop system that I'm going to be implementing it in, but that's not the only use case of this, so I'm going to get building. For each slice of the build, you're going to need 1 dropper, 1 dispenser, 4 sticky pistons, 21 observer blocks, 3 note blocks, either 4 or 3 redstone repeaters, depending on which layer of the contraption you're building. So they go in alternate layers, just at the bottom section. 2 redstone lamps, 2 redstone torches, 3 redstone comparators, 7 hoppers, 3 activator rails, and 7 powered rails. And on alternating slices, it will be the other way around. So 7 activator rails and 3 powered rails, just so they don't connect. 1 redstone block, 1 regular piston, 1 slab, a bunch of regular blocks, and 2 barrels. You may also need some extra barrels and stuff like I've got here. And I've got a chest down at the bottom as well to collect the items. But that's the exact items that you'll need to build this. A small correction that I need to make to the resource list is that you're actually only going to need 6 of one of the types of rail and 3 of the other, not 7 like I said. And also I forgot to include redstone dust in the list, so you'll either need 4 or you'll need 6, depending if you're building the alternating modules. So I think it's time to get on with the tutorial now. You can probably see most of what you need to see just from the side view, but I am going to go through building it step by step. So let's grab all of the blocks that we need for this first sort of couple of steps. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our chest. We're going to have a hopper running into that chest, a slab on top of that, a solid block to the side, and then we're going to place our dispenser on top like so. Then we're going to place an observer facing across, running into a downwards facing piston like so. And what we're then going to do is place a temporary block here, and then we're going to place a dropper facing inwards here with a block behind it. We can then break out this temporary block and replace it with 2 hoppers running downwards, and into this dropper we can place a hopper and then 2 hoppers running into there. Then what we can do is we can put our barrels on top like so. We're going to place a redstone lamp here, and then we're going to have an observer block facing across there. We're going to have a sticky piston that faces down in this position like so, and then that's going to have an observer block facing inwards there. We will adjust this position of the observer block at the end to double check that it's in the right position, because this is very important. But we're going to have an observer block facing down here, running into a note block, running across into an observer block like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a comparator running out like this, and that's going to run into a block. Then we're going to continue this line for 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to have a block, and then we're going to have 2. Then we're going to place 3 redstone dust here, 2 redstone repeaters, a redstone dust, and a redstone repeater. This final redstone repeater will be running into an upwards facing sticky piston with an observer block facing upwards on top of it. We're going to have a redstone lamp next to it with an observer facing out, and then we're going to have a sticky piston running down here like so. Then we're going to have 2 observer blocks facing across, running into a solid block there. Next we're going to place a solid block up here like so, and we're going to place a note block here, and then we're going to have an observer block. We're going to have a solid block, a note block, an observer block, a solid block, a piston, and a redstone block. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come under here, place a block, we're going to place a block here, and we're going to place a block here. Next we're going to grab one of our types of rails and some blocks. We're going to read 4 across here, and we're going to place our rails on top of there like so. Then what we're going to do is place a block here and a block here, and what we can do is place a comparator in here, a redstone torch here, and a redstone repeater there. Then what we're going to do is add in some observers. So we're going to have an observer facing downwards here, then we're going to have 2 upwards facing observers and another downwards facing observer like this. We're going to have a block, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 observers running across like this, one higher than that there. That's going to run into a hopper, it doesn't matter where it's facing, and then we're going to have a downwards facing observer like this, and then a cross facing observer here, as well as an upwards facing observer here, and a cross facing observer here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to place in a few more blocks. We're going to place in a torch and a comparator once again. Then what we're going to do is place in one of our types of rails here, and the other type of rail here like so. And of course this circuit's all going to trigger when you do that, which is why it doesn't really matter where you place this block until the very end, which is why I was making sure that we double check that. Then we're going to place our droppers in. They're going to be facing into each other here, and that is actually all of the redstone done for a single slice. Now what we need to do is in the dropper that's below the redstone block, we need to put the amount of items that we want to go into the shulker box minus 3. So if we want to put half a stack in, for example, we need to take 3 away from that and put in 29 items. Okay, then what we need to do is come over to here, and we want to make sure this observer block is down on the bottom here like so. And what we can actually then do is we can grab our shulker boxes and put them in the barrel, and we can grab what we're going to put in the shulker boxes and put them in the other barrel, and it will start loading. So we've first got to wait for this to load up so that it reaches signal strength 3. I'm just going to boost this by putting an extra stack in there. Now, our first time we will get some rogue items dispensed, but we don't need to worry about that for now, because after that we will get the right amount. So let's just get rid of those. And the first couple of shulker boxes will mess up, but after we get that, the third one will have 32 items, and all the subsequent shulker boxes will have 32 items because the system will work itself out. And that's just because the shulker boxes has got to be dispensed at the right time, and indeed that is now occurring. So every time we put items in, we get the right amount out. So this is this system. It's tileable, so now I'm going to show you what the second slice would look like. I'm just going to make some modifications down here. So what's going to go on is I'm going to actually remove all of the green dye so that it stops triggering our system. So now what we need to do is break out some of these blocks like so up to this point. This block can remain, and then below this we're going to place our redstone dust. We're going to have a line running across to here, and then we're going to have a block upwards like so. We're going to have redstone dust here and here, and we're going to have redstone dust here, here and here, and then we're going to grab up a repeater and simply put that there. In order to ensure that the timings are right, we need to set this repeater to 2 ticks. And that's all the modifications that you need to make, other than making sure that the 2 lines do not connect. So to ensure this, you'll need to place some extra blocks here so that the 2 lines don't connect, and just double check that nothing connects anywhere else. So this is your system done. You can tile alternating modules of these next to each other, ensuring that you place your regular rails next to your detector rails and your other rails next to these rails so they don't connect like so. And that is perfectly all you need to do for this design. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed, remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe down below. My name is Vortex Warp, and this video has come to an end. Goodbye guys, see you in the next one.